Imagine this, you disappear for a while. No posts, no updates, no grand announcements. You simply vanish into your own world. And then one day you come back and shock the world. That's the power of silence. That's the magic of working behind the scenes. We live in a culture obsessed with noise. Everyone's talking, everyone's posting, everyone's announcing their plans before they've even taken the first step. But here's the truth. Noise doesn't build empires. Silence does. Because silence is where focus lives. Silence is where discipline is born. Silence is where dreams are turned into reality. Think about it. Every great inventor, every world-class athlete, every visionary, you only see their success on the stage. You never see the long nights in the gym. You never see the tears in the studio. You never see the countless failures in the lab. Success is public, but the work is private. Do you remember old photography? Back in the days before smartphones, pictures were developed in dark rooms. You couldn't expose the photo to light too soon or it would be ruined. The process took time, patience, and careful attention. Your success is no different. You are the photograph. Your vision is still developing, and if you expose it to the world too early, if you announce it, boast about it, broadcast it, you risk ruining the process. That's why silence is your dark room. It's where you fail safely. It's where you learn quietly. It's where you sharpen your skills without the world's judgment. And when the time is right, you step out of the dark room and all eyes are on you. Everyone wants success. Everyone wants results. But almost no one is willing to disappear for 6 months. No one wants to vanish into obscurity, away from the noise, away from the spotlight, just to work. But that's exactly what it takes. Sometimes you've got to delete the apps. Sometimes you've got to unplug from the distractions. Sometimes you've got to say no to comfort, no to validation, and no to temporary pleasure. So you can say yes to destiny. Because a man is rewarded in public for what he does in private. Maybe you'll have to sleep in your car. Maybe you'll have to bounce from couch to couch. Maybe you'll sacrifice nights out with friends, vacations, even meals. But here's the real question. Can you do it when nobody's watching? Can you stay committed when there's no applause, no likes, no recognition? Because that's what separates the ordinary from the extraordinary. Champions are made in silence. Legends are built when nobody cares. History is written when the world isn't paying attention. And one day, your silence will turn into the loudest sound anyone has ever heard. The sound of undeniable success. So let me ask you this. Why are you here? What's your destiny? What dream burns in your heart so deeply that you're willing to disappear for it? It's time to be brutally honest with yourself. Because the version of you that has coasted this far, the one that procrastinates, that gets distracted, that craves validation, that version will not carry you to the next level. If you want to shock the world, you must first shock yourself with your own discipline. If you want to inspire millions, you must first prove to yourself that you can stay consistent when nobody claps. So here's the challenge. Stop telling people what you're going to do. Stop announcing your every move. Just do the work. Stumps, disappear. Focus. Sacrifice. And when you come back, let your success do the talking. This is just the beginning. In part 2, we'll dive even deeper into the mindset and daily practices you need to master the art of working in silence. In part 1, we talked about the power of silence, how disappearing, cutting out distractions, and building in private sets the foundation for greatness. But now let's go deeper. Because silence is more than just not talking. It's a mindset. It's a lifestyle. It's the invisible force that transforms ordinary people into unstoppable legends. Let's be honest. The hardest part about working in silence isn't the work itself. It's the silence. It's the absence of validation. It's the quiet when nobody is cheering for you, nobody is clapping, and nobody even notices your effort. That silence is heavy. It feels like rejection. It feels like you don't matter. But here's the truth, that silence is your training ground. If you can handle silence, you can handle success. Because success isn't built on applause, it's built on consistency. So resist the temptation to broadcast every move. Resist the temptation to brag before you've built. Resist the temptation to seek approval before you've earned it. Silence is not weakness, it's discipline. People ask, what does working in silence look like? It looks like setting the alarm at 5 a.m. when nobody else is awake. It looks like hours in the gym when no one is filming. It looks like studying until your eyes burn, even though no one will ever like your post about it. It looks like endless nights at your desk building, coding, writing, practicing, without recognition, without applause. And yet those are the nights that matter most. Because it's what you do in the dark that determines who you are in the light. Michael Jordan wasn't made on the basketball court in front of millions. He was made in empty gyms, shooting thousands of free throws when no one was watching. Steve Jobs didn't build Apple by announcing future products. He built in secrecy, in silence, until the world had no choice but to pay attention. Your silent hours are your golden hours. Success demands a price, and most of that price is paid in silence. Nobody will see the nights you went hungry to pay for your dream. Nobody will see the friendships you lost because you chose discipline over distraction. Nobody will see the tears you cried in the shower, the doubts that screamed inside your head, the battles you fought in your own mind. But they will see the result. And when they see it, they'll call you lucky. They'll call you gifted. They'll call you an overnight success. They won't understand the invisible sacrifices that built your visible success. And you know what? That's fine. Because you didn't do it for them. You did it for the destiny that calls your name. Working in silence requires more than just effort. It requires mental armor. You need patience because real success takes time. You need resilience because the silence will test your belief. You need faith. Faith in yourself, faith in the process, faith that the seeds you're planting will one day break through the soil. Silence is not empty. It's full of answers. It teaches you to listen to yourself, to trust your instincts, to sharpen your focus. It forces you to stop depending on applause and start depending on discipline. And once you build that kind of mental strength, you become unstoppable. Because no criticism can break you, and no lack of recognition can shake you. Every day you work in silence, you are building for a moment. A moment that will come unexpectedly to everyone else but not to you, because you've been preparing for it. That moment might be your first business launch. That moment might be stepping on stage for the performance of a lifetime. That moment might be holding the diploma after years of struggle. That moment might be hearing the words, "You're hired, you cured, you won," or "You did it." The world will be shocked, but you won't. Because you already saw it in your mind. You already lived it in your silence. And now the world finally gets to see what silence created. So here's the mindset of silent warriors. They don't need to be seen. They don't need to be heard. They only need to keep working, keep moving, keep believing. Because they know one thing. When success arrives, it will make more noise than they ever could. And in part 3, we'll talk about how to sustain this journey, how to celebrate in silence, how to stay humble when the applause finally comes, and how to keep growing even after success. We've talked about the power of silence. We've talked about the mindset of silent warriors. But now comes the final piece. What happens after success? What happens when the world finally notices what you've been building in the shadows? This is where many people fall. Because once the applause comes, they forget the silence that built them. But not you, not if you're truly committed to greatness. One day it happens. The world sees you. The world claps. The world finally says your name. And for a moment, it feels incredible. Every sleepless night, every silent sacrifice, every moment of doubt. It all comes rushing back and you realize it was worth it. But here's the secret. Applause is temporary. Validation is fleeting. And if you depend on it, you'll lose the very discipline that brought you here. So enjoy the applause, but don't live for it. Let it pass like the wind and return to your silence. True champions understand this. Success isn't a finish line. It's a checkpoint. When you let success make you arrogant, you stop growing. When you let applause blind you, you stop working. And when you stop working, you start falling. The greatest wisdom is to let success humble you because success whispers, "Look how far you've come." But silence answers, "Yes, and look how far you can still go." Think of the greats, athletes, innovators, thinkers. The reason they stayed on top wasn't talent alone. It was humility. It was the hunger to keep building even after the world crowned them champions. So when your success speaks, let it speak for itself. You don't need to scream. You don't need to brag. You just need to keep working. I'll worry. Silence is not just a strategy, it's a philosophy. It's a way of living that says, my actions will always speak louder than my words. Think about this. Gold doesn't shout, yet it shines. The sun doesn't make announcements, yet every morning it rises. The ocean doesn't brag about its depth, yet it's deeper than anyone can imagine. In the same way, your success doesn't need to be broadcasted. It will radiate, it will echo, it will inspire without a single word. When you live this way, you stop wasting energy proving yourself. Instead, you invest all your energy improving yourself. And that's the difference between people who fade and people who last. Here's how you sustain your journey. Celebrate privately. Enjoy your wins with a small circle of trusted people. You don't need the whole world to clap. Return to discipline. The day after victory is the most dangerous. Don't stop the routines that built your success. Protect your energy. Not every opinion deserves your attention. Not every critic deserves your reply. Silence is your shield. Keep your hunger alive. Remind yourself this is not the end. There's always another level, another challenge, another dream. Because success is not about one victory. It's about building a life of victories. And the only way to do that is to remain a silent warrior. One day, people will tell your story. They will admire your success. They will talk about how you seem to come out of nowhere and shocked the world. But you will know the truth. You didn't come out of nowhere. You came out of silence. You came out of discipline. You came out of the invisible hours that nobody saw, but everybody now respects. That's your legacy, not the noise, not the bragging, but the undeniable power of results that speak for themselves. So here's the final message. Work in silence. Sacrifice in silence. Grow in silence. And when your success finally speaks, let it echo so loudly that the whole world listens. Because in the end, you don't need to announce your greatness. You don't need to beg for recognition. You don't need to prove yourself with words. Your results will prove it all. Your discipline will prove it all. Your silence will prove it all. If this message lit a fire in you, don't keep it to yourself. Like this video, subscribe for more daily motivation, and share it with someone who needs to hear this today. Let's build a community of silent warriors, people who work in the dark and shine in the light.